Today, we want to share with you a little bit of our story and how our story has changed the way that we think about each other, the way we think about our children, and the way we think about other people that we meet. Back in 2007, we discovered that we were expecting, and we were so excited. It was our first one, and we spent a lot of time getting the room ready.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. The border, there was a border on it. We had to paint the border, and we actually had different. We had a yellow room with blue and green stripes on the border all the way around. We ended up getting a crib and had the whole room set up for an arrival of a baby.
We spent a lot of time getting that room ready.
Yes, we did.
Because we were so excited. It was our first child, and we wanted to make it special. And we took the room that it was, which was basically a storage room filled with a lot of boxes, and rearranged everything in order to make it this special place to bring home our baby.
Yeah, we took a lot of time preparing the house to make sure that it was baby proof and safe, getting a nursery together.
I remember coming home, or actually I went home to visit my parents, and ended up being surprised by this awesome baby shower. And I remember trucking everything back to the house and putting everything in its spot and washing up all the clothes and folding them up and putting them in the drawers, and we had this beautiful room. It was completely ready for us to bring home our baby. And all we needed was our baby. And we went to the appointments, and I remember very vividly one appointment. It would have been the third week of November, and it was on a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. It was the one appointment I didn't go with.
One appointment. Evan couldn't go with me. And so everything's been fine. Everything's been good. So I go to the appointment by myself. And I remember laying there on the table, getting ready to hear the heartbeat. And the midwife was not really sure what was happening. So I remember her saying, "I'm going to be right back. I just want you to just lay here. Everything's fine. I'll be right back." And I remember coming back in the room with a doctor. And I remember them bringing in like an actual picture ultrasound. And they were going to do an ultrasound of my stomach. I remember there was no heartbeat. And I remember laying on the table saying, "Oh my God, my baby's dead. My baby's dead." And I was there all alone. Evan wasn't there. And so I had to receive this news all by myself. And it was heartbreaking. And I really just wanted to do whatever we could to have this process completely finished as quickly as possible. And so we were hoping that we could come in the next day and make sure everything was taken care of, and we could just continue with life and forget that all of this happened. But it didn't work that way.
I remember Heather had called me from the office and had shared with me the news of what had happened. I had to work late that day, so I got home late. So I was at home when I got the call. I had just gotten out of the shower. And so immediately threw on clothes and hopped in the car and drove to the hospital where Heather was.
Yeah, so they had us come back the next day and had us meet with a grief counselor because we were full term. I mean, at this point, it was really a matter of just any day, waiting for labor to start. And our baby was going to be in our arms. And then Thursday was Thanksgiving
Day.
And then Friday morning, we arrived at the hospital where they were going to take the baby via C-section.
November 23rd, 2007 was Black Friday, and our baby boy was delivered. And that was, again, the emotion involved in that was overwhelming. I'm so incredibly thankful for the nursing staff that was there, and particularly Linda, who came alongside of us through that and grieved with us in that experience. We spent a couple days in the hospital as Heather was recovering from the cesarean delivery, and eventually made it back home. And probably the most overwhelming experience was that walking in the door from the hospital and not having him there with us was very challenging. And remember it incredibly vividly. But probably the moment that struck me the most, and probably one of the biggest learning lessons that I had in the whole thing, was we were walking back. Had to walk down the hallway past the nursery to get to our bedroom, and stopped in front of the door to the nursery that had been prepared, hours of labor put into making that space ready for the reception of this new child. And I got stopped in my tracks at the door, and I looked in the dark room, and I remember at that moment hearing a voice saying to me, "Evan, you're broken because your child is not home with you." That's how I feel about my children who are never going to make it home to me because they've chosen not to come home. And at that moment, I recognized it was the voice of God speaking to me about how desperately God loves each and every one of us. And a very vivid lesson to me about the love of God for you and for me and for every single person that God has made.
And so Jesus says that he has gone to prepare a room for you and a room for me. And so we are here and we are sharing our testimony. And this is part of the ministry of Because Everything Matters. Because you do matter, and you need to know that it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you think. But there is a God who has gone to prepare a place for you. And he longs to make sure that you come home to that room that he is preparing. And he does not want to experience the devastation that we have experienced as parents, where we've prepared a room, and yet we've had no child come into that room. So we long for you to give God a chance. For those of you that have run far from him, for those of you that are just simply denying him, just give him a chance. He longs to be with you. He longs to speak to you. And he longs to have you come home.